All right, we are live and on the air. Welcome to the Psychic Funhouse live or live stream podcast. We're back for another exciting hour of discussion and readings. My name is Adrienne and Lawrence Birch. I'm the co-host, and to my right in digital land is the amazing Miss Stratton, who is also the co-host of the Psychic Funhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Adrienne.
Hey, Lawrence. Happy Friday. Friday evening. Yes, Friday evening. And here we are. This is
Yep.
always something I look forward to.
Yeah, it's our once a week time to commune with the spirits and each other and our audience and find out what's happening in the spiritual world around us and just have a good in-depth discussion about topics of substance. So
Yes,
I'm
indeed.
grateful for the opportunity. Yeah, yeah. Um, we get started with contact information so people know how to reach us when they're ready to do that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. If anyone in the uh, audience uh, our listenership is interested in contacting me for a psychic intuitive reading or mediumship reading, please call me at 714-376-7289. You can also text me to that number. My website also has a lot of information regarding my services and fees and some of the upcoming events as well. And that website address is ravenmessages.com. I have a Facebook page
mhm.
by the same name as well. And on a side note, on a side note, I'm uh, going to be pausing the jewelry page uh, that I have for a while to kind of change up some of the pricing and inventory. So
Mhm.
if anyone is interested, in any high quality gemstone jewelry, unique kind of one of a kind pieces, take a look at Raven Messages Jewelry on Facebook and let me know. Let me know if you're interested in anything. So that's kind of the best way to contact me. And how about you, Lawrence?
Yeah, well, I was gonna maybe mention. I think you have a special event coming up on the 19th, if I'm correct.
Excuse me.
Uh oh.
Yes, I do. On the 19th of this month, which is
Mm-hmm.
next Tuesday,
Yep.
I'll be at the
Okay.
1ONE Hotel in West Hollywood. I'll be doing an event with half a dozen other psychics. And what we're going to be doing is a little different, a little unique. Um, it's speed reading. So
Mm-hmm.
um, everyone that the clients, customers pay a flat fee, and everyone gets a 10-minute reading by each of the psychics that are there. So
Mm.
it's a little bit different, but I'm looking forward to it. Should
Mm-hmm.
be a lot of fun, and it's a real great group of people. So if you're in the West Hollywood, LA area next Tuesday evening, come on by. Starts at 6:30.
And so, okay, do you have to get tickets in advance? Or are they available at the door, or how do
Um,
people sign up for it?
the probably the best thing, if you're interested, call me directly and I will direct you uh, to uh, the best channel uh, to purchase your tickets. We're pretty much sold out. I think I heard
Oh,
a couple
great.
days. Yeah, I heard that we had like I think three spots open. So
Wow.
yeah,
Fun.
yeah, something different.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Well, you'll
and
have to let us know
yeah,
how it
I
goes.
will definitely,
Mhm.
definitely.
Mhm.
And then on the 23rd is the OC Heart Space Holistic Fair in
Mhm.
Laguna Woods. And that's kind of a
Mhm.
big event in the sense that there's, oh, I don't
Mhm.
know, gosh, maybe 40 different uh, healers, psychics, mediums present either on site or available virtually. Anyway, the price range varies, and there's a lot of free stuff that also happens. And you know, be wonderful if you're interested, if you're available, and you want to come by. It's from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay. Very good. Couple exciting events to look forward to for people to connect with.
yeah,
So, sounds like if they want to get in on the speed reading, they need to
yeah,
jump on that bandwagon
yeah.
stat. So, good. All right. Very nice. Yeah. Well, my contact info.
Yes,
Uh,
please.
yes. My website's givingtreefarm.com, and my phone number is 541-344-7534. Call me, text me if you have questions about herbalism or classes I might be teaching, um, or if you'd like a shamanic reading or healing or tarot card work, psychic work, all the above. You can email me as well at givingtree@earthlink.net. And I have a Facebook page that's Giving Tree Farm Herbs. So options are available for contacting.
Indeed.
Always good to hear from people. Yes. So, da, 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 da.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a really productive, fascinating discussion last week about kind of our personal relationship with spirit guides. And
Hmm.
I thought we would continue the conversation. But I also wanted to mention uh, that I'm dedicating tonight's show to a really significant member of our spiritual community who I was just informed passed on a couple of months ago, and he was a good friend of mine and a native of Orange County area. Um, I met him while we were working together at a metaphysical shop in Costa Mesa, California, that has actually since shuttered its doors recently, sadly. Um, but his name was Ron DeWild, a really good guy. He was a Army veteran and really amazing tarot card reader and psychic, intuitive. Um, Knew a lot about contacting spirits, had a really loyal following, and May 29th was his last physical day here, and now he's entered the spirit realm himself. So we're mourning his passing and wishing him safe journeys wherever he is. So, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm sad to hear about the loss of your friend. It's It's never easy,
Thank you.
certainly, even though we know very well that there is, an afterlife and a very active uh, life in the non-physical, but it's still challenging, and it's still it still hurts, still sad, and uh, so yeah, uh,
Yeah, yeah. Um, it is. It does make it challenging moving forward, for sure. And you know, uh, Ron was a really good guy. He had a great sense of humor. um, so he laughed at most of my jokes, which was good. I laughed at his, and we could talk about just about anything. So,
mm,
and yeah, he had a real command of the spiritual arts. It was, really just an interesting gentleman, a
yeah,
lot of different ways.
mm,
So,
gosh,
mhm. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, definitely thinking of him. um, yeah. Well, we were talking last week about our spirit guides that we work with, and how we first acquired our spirit guides.
mm-hmm.
And I thought we'd expand the discussion a little bit tonight to talk about, how or some of our audience members can acquire a spirit guide, and once they do, what what are some of the ways that they can start working with them and incorporating them into their lives and for spiritual and other benefits, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have clients come to you who are new to the concept of guardian angels or spirit guides or ascended masters, or
Yeah, I mean,
however you
I
want to call it?
do.
Hmm.
I do have, pardon me, clients that will say things like, "Yeah, I've heard so much about spirit guides, but I don't know who my spirit guide might be, or how to find a spirit guide, or what to do. Yeah, how to
Hmm.
use one if I even if I
Hmm.
did have one. So,
Hmm.
so yeah, I mean that it does come up, not not on a regular basis, but it does come up, and and I'm always happy to help in any way that I can. Um, and so I think sometimes it's also, for me, it's also about establishing, um, well, usually I already have rapport with the client, but if it's a new client, new person, um, trying to find it's like trying to find the right medium, so to speak, the the right language. Okay. And so what I mean by that
Hmm.
is that sometimes what I have found is that people that are coming from a more religious background, either they are still practicing their religion or used to, um,
Hmm.
sometimes saints and angels are the descriptive words that clients will sometimes use. And I have no problem,
Hmm.
talking about saints and angels as well. And
Mm-hmm.
I try to, maybe provide some clarity if there is any confusion. Um, uh, but in a real general way, what I do is I just will, if they already have those relationships in place, then what I do is, encourage them to utilize them, to call upon them. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people are somewhat reluctant because of a wide variety of things. Sometimes because of trust, past trust issues. When I needed
Mm-hmm.
help, I asked for guidance, I asked for a sign, I didn't get any of that. There's so much hypocrisy in some of the churches and this and that. And so sometimes it's kind of like this process of trying to help a person get clear, um, on some of those issues, and if I can be of assistance to help them work through any of that, then I will. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, that doesn't off come up too often, but it has in the past. And
Mm-hmm.
and so so yes, so I have been able to be helpful with the person that already has a sense of who they may be working with. They have an awareness that they're not alone. And then for the person that is desiring contact with spirit guides, I will usually take them through a bit of some journeying, and I think I touched on that last week. A bit of some journeying to a place that they feel safe, and kind of open things up so that guides, their guides, potential guides can step forward and they can see if they want to make contact or not. Um, so kind of just depends. Everybody's different. People have different needs, but I think the other thing I was thinking was, it's like, yes, of course, people want to know how to work with them, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, it's kind of it's always an individualized kind of process, and people lots of times they want help, they want guidance, they want to know that they're not alone, they want sometimes they also need protection as well, and the guides can help
Mm-hmm.
with all of that. So um
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's
Hmm.
kind of like a long-winded long-winded answer, but it's such
That's
a
okay. We're here for
yeah.
long-windedness. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, and how about for
So,
you?
so
Yeah. Mhm.
well, so you brought up some things I want to ask you about,
Okay.
if I may. Uh, so when you do have a client who, I'm just going to call it, has, let's say, has some hesitancy,
Mhm.
um, about, uh, working with guides or even the concept of guides, how do you overcome that, with them? How do you get beyond that barrier so that they can start to work with their guides and build trust and communication and have some success, uh,
Mhm.
with their spirit helper?
Mhm.
Do you have
Mhm.
techniques for that, or is it different for each person? Or could you talk a little bit about that? What your
Sure. I
process
mean,
has been
it's
like?
it's definitely different for each person, but I certainly never
Mm-hmm.
push it on anybody. I mean, there are some people that, coming into a few sessions, are still feeling sometimes pretty much alone and uncertain about um, who's really out there. Is there really somebody out there that can help me? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so what I do, I just try to take a very slow, measured kind of pace with them, and
Mm-hmm.
if they continue to demonstrate that they are genuinely desiring communication, uh, then then what I might do is try to try to go over maybe their life, maybe talk about some of the things that might even be considered to be miracles. Big miracles, small miracles. Were there
Mm-hmm.
times that you could have gotten in trouble but you didn't? Were there times that
Mm-hmm.
you almost had an automobile accident but you didn't? Was there a time
Yeah.
that a loved one was very ill and you said, if there's a God, or if there's an angel, if there's anybody up there, can you please help so and so? And so
Mm-hmm.
and so seemed to get better. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so a variety of different kinds of things like that. And what I usually will do is uh, I do a couple different things. I think I must have been maybe a teacher, some sort of teacher in past life. Sometimes I will give people homework. And so I might even ask them,
Mm-hmm.
what will, between now and next time I see you, write down a list of some examples of, when you felt like, really there was some sort of miracle, some kind of a divine intervention that happened, to you directly or a loved one, and and then share that with me, or share it with somebody that that you're close to. So I might do that,
Mm-hmm.
but usually what I like to do is just kind of like plant seeds. And I will tell people
Mm-hmm.
during a session, if I'm providing some instruction, um, is that what, I don't really need to hear much about your feedback right now on this. Just take it in, be with it for a while. And if some of these ideas about miracles and divine intervention, and um, or even if you'd had an experience where a loved one had passed away, but suddenly you could feel like their presence, um, just be with all of that. Just be with all of that. And when I see you next, we'll talk about that a little bit further. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of how I might open the door to some of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Never pushing, never
I like
never pushing. Yeah.
right. You're not a spiritual pusher for
Mhm.
people. Yeah.
Right.
Um, no, I think that's good. I think that's appropriate. I like that you get them to kind of do a little bit of a life review to
Yeah.
see where maybe they've already had some sexual interactions but weren't keyed into it. You know, um, that's where my mind went already when I was just listening to you, posing the questions. I'm like, oh yeah, there was that time where I shouldn't have uh, shouldn't have survived, or had a close call, and
Yeah.
maybe there was an intervention going on there. So that is a that is a pretty accepted concept, I think, in the spiritual community, that our rights are kind of there operating already. We just need to be made aware of them so we can take a more proactive uh, approach to interacting with them and working with them and learning and understanding things. So
Mm-hmm.
you know
Mm-hmm.
with me, what will happen, particularly when I'm working with somebody, or if they come to me with uh, an issue that I think can be addressed by getting a spirit help, or I'll go ahead and do a journey for them to acquire a power animal.
Oh yeah.
And I've had different students throughout the years, and clients that I've done a power animal journey for, and it's pretty interesting, pretty powerful when they
I'm
get
sure.
contact with that animal, and and how it makes them feel. And wide variety of unexpected animals show up. I think I can talk about a few of them without disclosing too many private details. But I had a had a student that I worked with for several months, and we did a power animal retrieval for her. It was interesting. What came up was a hammerhead shark
Oh wow.
as her power. Yeah, yeah, and it was interesting because it had like I don't know what name we finally settled on for it, but it was like it had like an attendant,
Uh-huh.
like so she got like a power animal, and the power animal had its own kind of assistant, which is interesting. Like like when you see sharks, there's always like pilot fish or remoras or other creatures of the sea swimming along with them, either to get the leftovers, or I don't know what they're doing, just you know feeling safer next to the
Hmm. That's yeah. That's pretty interesting.
totally out of the blue, unexpected. Yeah, yeah. It is interesting. There's definitely a tradition that I'm aware of. Not I don't really know that much about it, but um, particularly in some of the southern Pacific island cultures, they have a tradition of working with shark spirits and even swimming with sharks. Uh,
Huh.
so it's not out of the realm of
Yeah.
possibility that that's something that would make sense for her. Um, Another person, a friend of mine, has been delving into shamanism quite a bit for the last few years, and we had opportunity to do an animal power animal retrieval for him, and what came back was a lynx. Um, you know, which I have never had benefit to see in the wild. I've seen several bobcats,
Yeah.
but not a lynx. They're very,
Yeah.
very stealthy. And what was interesting about him is he spent quite a bit of time in Eastern Oregon, working at a very remote resort that you either had to hike into or fly into. It wasn't accessible by road. It was in mountain range, and he actually saw a lynx when he was hiking. Came out of the woods, and they made eye contact and kind of had a stare down for several moments. So
Wow.
that was uh, that was pretty powerful. And the attributes of these animals, you can look them up, and sometimes they'll come to you and tell you about themselves. But it
Mm-hmm.
seemed really appropriate for him in his case, because part of the tradition behind links is that they're secret keepers,
Yeah.
and so they're the people who hear all the community's secrets and hold them in
Yeah.
confidence,
Yeah.
um, which is pretty
Yeah.
rare, and that really suits him. He's almost like he's like my confessor for things. He'll he'll hear a lot of the stuff I don't tell even some of my other close friends. So, uh, which is great, and he and in his personality, he's a very non-judgmental person. Very open and accepting. So that makes him, a good carrier of Link's energy for sure. Um, you know,
When you were
so.
when you were talking about the shark, I thought
Hmm.
about the fact that a lot of people seems like a lot of people um, embraced dolphins there at one time, and
Hmm.
dolphins and
Hmm.
whales even. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think I mentioned last show that my first spirit guide that was given me was killer whale,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't think I actually talked about that. But when I was a kid and I um, was first getting aware of things in the environment, uh, back in second grade, I won an award for a poster I drew for recycling up here in
Oh,
Oregon, actually, believe it or not, which is funny.
how
Um,
cool.
but that was also, when I was younger, that was when Save the Whales was Greenpeace's big campaign,
Hmm.
and and I moved to a coastal community in California, and really became involved with that group, and I actually ended up working for Greenpeace when I moved back up to Oregon. Did some canvassing door to door, which was pretty interesting, especially in the rural communities. You know, at that time we had a campaign to really step up our game to save dolphins because they were getting caught up in the tuna fishermen's nets and other things. And I remember I had one particularly salty conversation with a neighborhood person when I brought up, saving the dolphins, and like out of the blue, she said, "Well, what about the babies?" I said, "The babies? I mean, like the baby dolphins?" She's like, "No, what about the human babies? What about saving them?" And I'm, "Yeah, let's do it. And we can save the dolphins too. We don't have to just do one or the other. We can multitask." But that wasn't the conversation she wanted to have. So we moved on. But yeah.
That's great. That's
Yep.
great.
Yep.
Love
Yep.
that.
Yep. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
when so once you've convinced the client that you have that it's safe and okay to trust this new relationship that they're having with their newly acquired or newly made aware of spirit guide, what are the next steps that you encourage them to take? What do you what do you um, present to them as opportunities to deepen their relationship and
mhm.
create some healthy and helpful bonds with this new guide? Do you have exercises you have them do, or you mentioned homework
um
before doing a review? But once they're ready to jump in and do something, what what insights do you have for them at that point, Adrian?
yeah, again, it's so individualized, and it depends greatly on what it is the client is desiring. So if
Hmm.
In most cases, some of the initial kinds of uh, work, if you will, is going to be certainly about strengthening that relationship, strengthening that communication, and um, so okay, so how do you strengthen the communication? How do you do that? It's like sometimes people think, well, I'm just sitting here talking just talking away, talking to myself, talking to the air. And
Mm-hmm.
so s- so a lot of times what where we'll go from that is you know might be in meditation, might be some meditative work that we do, and ask them, if they can. So, a couple things that I might do. I might, depending upon the client, depending upon where they're at, sometimes what I do is I will help them activate their sixth chakra in particular. Um, Maybe all of them. Maybe we'll do some sort of work clearing, uh, clearing and cleansing the chakras, aligning the chakras. And then what I'll do is maybe help them really activate their sixth chakra. And I like to refer to the sixth chakra as my spiritual eyes. So, and I encourage the client to maybe use that same terminology or something similar, but they don't have to. But so we usually will go through that, and then um, I will ask. They'll usually get them into some sort of meditative, nice, relaxed state, and ask them to speak with me, close their eyes, and then speak with me out loud so I can hear them. And I ask them to visualize. Well, what are you seeing? Using using your spiritual eyes. Can you see that
Mm-hmm.
that spirit guide? Can you see that spirit guide? Maybe you can, maybe
Mm-hmm.
you can't, maybe you never will. But but the
Mm-hmm.
point is that's kind of like an exercise that helps take a person a little bit deeper. um
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and and then from that is the communication aspect. So it's kind of like, can you see that spirit guide? Can't see that spirit guide?
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. But you feel like you're
Mm-hmm.
nice in nice, relaxed, meditative place. Well, let's just go a little bit further. And uh, what I'd like you to do is put it out there to the universe, if you will. Maybe that spirit guide is listening. And what is in your heart? What is it that you're desiring right now? If a spirit guide could
Mm-hmm.
hear you, what is it that the spirit guide could help you with? What kind of help are
Mm-hmm.
you feeling like you might be needing or wanting at this point in time? And like I said earlier, sometimes it really is help. It's guidance on a
Mm-hmm.
particular topic. It is sometimes protection. Sometimes it's just greater clarity and
Mm-hmm.
greater understanding of their spiritual path. And so
Mm-hmm.
so in these initial sessions, it's kind of like building upon those topics and those issues, and then we just go further and further. And um, I will I'll join them. I'll join them in meditation. I'll join them in those kinds of sessions as a quiet observer. And when the meditation is over, I'll provide some feedback and try to be
Mm-hmm.
helpful that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Um, I just got a memo from our legal department
Ah,
that we haven't done our disclaimer yet. So um, so just letting people know that Adrian and I are professionals. However, we're not professional financial advice givers, legal advice givers, um, or geostationary suborbital device satellite givers for advice either. So if you need help with any of those technical things, you should definitely seek out professionals in those fields. And then you can come back and enjoy what you're getting out of this program, which is some amazing information, advice, and knowledge, and maybe a little tiny bit of wisdom. So, um, yeah, yeah, some things for me to add about that. So, with shamanic work, um, you had a really nice turn of phrase there. Where you said, encouraging your clients to look in their heart and see what, uh, and maybe encouraging their spirit guide to look in their heart and see what they might need, in terms of assistance. With shamanic work, you always want to start from a place of intention,
mhm,
right? Intentionality should be your alpha and your omega and woven all the way through whatever work you're doing. Um, because you need a clarity of purpose, you need a plan, you need a mission, you need a direction, you need a North Star to follow, so that when you're doing actual work, whether it's a healing ceremony or a soul retrieval, uh, or something else. Uh, if if you get distracted or you get thrown off course by something, you can always come back to that point of origin and reconnect and clarify again why you're doing this in the first place. Um, so you can continue to be successful. Uh, you don't want to just work with the elements of power randomly, or just do something without um, knowing why you're there in the first place. You may not know
mhm,
where you're going to end up or exactly how you're going to do your shamanic process, and you may even come up with an activity spontaneously. All of that's totally acceptable. You just have to be really crystal clear about why you're doing it, what your intention
mhm,
is. The other thing I introduce to clients uh, is the concept of working on behalf of others. And so, the spirit helpers that are there to, they've got their own missions as well.
mhm,
And uh, part of it is to empower you and maybe to protect you, uh, and to educate you about the knowledge that they have to share, and some other things. But they really want to be of service. That's why they're presenting themselves in the first place, and they really like it, and invariably work even harder when you have uh, chosen to do something on behalf of others. Uh, you know, Either as an act of support, or maybe even charity if you're going to go in that route, or justice, whatever your banner is that you're waving spiritually. especially that is the object you're engaging with. Well, the spirit guides really work harder when you're also working hard to help somebody else, not just
Yeah.
yourself. In other words, and there's nothing wrong with getting your own needs met with your spirit helpers. That's a really good thing. It's a good thing to be able to you know be aware of what it is that you could use a tune up on, and to be able to communicate that with your spirit guides, and also to receive it. you know um, Sometimes that can be the hardest thing for
Hmm.
somebody who's working with spirituality, is to once they've gotten over, okay, you know I'm willing to suspend my disbelief about this, I'm willing to trust this, I'm willing to be vulnerable, even open up, and you know and then something shows up, and they're like, well, you know what do I do with that? It's like, well, just stand there and let it hit you. It's okay. You don't have to do any more than that. Just be thankful, be grateful, be open, and
Yeah.
receive the blessing. And then if there's a task that you're given, and that's maybe another thing we could talk about, then the spirit guide is uh asking you to be their emissary in this plane of reality. And so they're charging you with accomplishing something. So what's your plan for that? you know that can be a
Hmm.
step that people get hung up on a lot, where it's like, well, nothing happened. And then you hear them recount their experience, and you're like, well, you say nothing happened, but I think what you're really saying is nothing happened that you were expecting to happen, but all this other stuff was going on, and you totally missed it and discounted it. It's like, did you not notice that you know this was being offered to you all throughout the thing, and you kept saying, oh no, but what about this? It's like, well, because you have to, you're sharing power and sharing an experience here. And that means giving up some of the control and partnering with your guides, and they may have a completely different agenda than you do. I know we both had readings where the clients come in and say, well, I want to know this, this, this,
Yeah.
this, and this.
Yes.
And you get in there and they're like, well, that's not what the spirit has to say. They want you to know this, this, and this.
It's so true.
you
So
know and then
true.
it becomes, you like arbitrating the tug of war, what they their expectations are, and the disappointment, and
Yeah.
the spirit saying, but this is way more important right now. So you know that's
Yeah.
pretty funny.
I had a lady. I was working at a holistic fair, and had a lady get up and abruptly tell me, "This is not what I wanted to hear." It's like,
Nice.
okay.
That's excellent.
Sorry. It's just,
That's when you say, okay, just a minute, let me take a picture for my rogues gallery.
yeah.
Say cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh gosh.
that's funny. Yeah, it's always interesting when somebody gets indignant about
Yeah.
uh spiritual guidance,
Yeah.
because you're disappointing them.
Hmm.
But yeah,
And
yeah,
it's very interesting,
yeah.
it's sometimes sometimes a client will come and they want you to pull some cards, or it just seems to be kind of, I don't want to say routine, because I don't think it's ever routine, but kind of a
Mhm,
simple kind of, let me just, whatever, just whatever, you know. And I have had
mhm,
a few of these kinds of sessions where all of a sudden, we're like, we go deep, really deep, as the information is coming through sometimes about past lives. And it's Interesting.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. I encourage clients to just be as open and unreserved as possible. You know,
Hmm.
um, particularly when they're first working with their spirit helpers. Sometimes my advice to them will be, um, just get them at a level the same way that you would with a new acquaintance that you're wanting to develop a friendship with. You know,
Yeah.
invite them to experience, an event with you when you go to the movie theater. Do a
Hmm.
little connect before you take your spirit guide. Say, hey, let's watch a movie together, and because they don't do things without your permission. And I think,
Right.
helping them realize that they're in the driver's seat, and just because the spirit guide says, well, I want you to order a dozen chocolate donuts, that doesn't mean that you have to do that.
That's right.
Same way that when you go to a doctor and, well, I'd
That's
like
right.
to separate your head from your head, the rest of your body, and put this robot instead. You don't have to say, okay, that sounds like a great idea, let's do that. You can be like, I'm going to get a second opinion. Second. And so, that can be useful. So maybe we'll have that discussion
I,
next time about,
yeah.
okay,
I think that's.
you got one spirit guide. What about when you have more than one? So
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, what were you going to say?
No, it's true. It's true.
Hmm.
My mind went to a couple different places. I was thinking about um, sometimes I get questions about health, a person's health, and sometimes
Hmm.
questions might be um, requiring a little bit above normal I don't know about normal average. They want a little bit above average information on a health issue. And of course, I am
Hmm.
very quick to say I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical person. You know, however,
Yeah.
and then I will say, let me go back in here and check with the guide that works on medical issues. And
Hmm.
and that's kind of like that's part of my team, and I have somebody,
Hmm.
I have a guide that I work with that is more that helps me, how I could describe it is it helps me um articulate things that relate to medical conditions, almost like a medical intuitive. So
Hmm.
I don't do that often, but every once in a while that comes up, and so
Hmm.
that made me laugh because I have a probably like you too, Lawrence, a team. There's a team of guides
Hmm.
that I work with, and they sometimes they all have something to say. Sometimes
Hmm.
they're all
Hmm.
quiet
Hmm.
too. So
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. 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 Um, yeah, I definitely think we could go into that more in depth next week. But yeah, I that's another thing I think it's worth um sharing with a client who's just starting to work with spirit guides is, sometimes because they want to know, where did the spirit guide come from, or why did it choose me, or what's going on. And part of working with spirituality is finding that balance for yourself where you're operating with enough information so that you have confidence to move forward, but you're also understanding that there's a lot of mystery involved with engaging with this particular paradigm, and you're not going to know everything. You're not going to
Right.
have everything just revealed to you, and just all of a sudden have this like awareness that's okay, I've got every single question I've ever
Yeah.
asked answered now, and I
Yeah.
can finally rest. It's like, no, actually, it's going to be the opposite. You're going to have more questions come up, and the questions are what's really important. Don't focus too much on acquiring the answers. You know,
Mm-hmm.
ask really, really good questions. So I counsel people with that. And then the other thing is that sometimes your guides are going to be there because they have a particular mission at this particular time. Once it's accomplished, and it could be as simple as telling you something that you needed to hear that nobody else was willing to in your everyday life. Then that's it. They're done, and they're ready to go back
Yeah.
to what they were doing before you, and they
Yeah.
made a connection.
Yes.
Other times you can have guides that are like, you know what, I've been here since even before the beginning with you, and you're my project, and I'm going to
Yeah.
be working with you and working on you until I get you tuned up to how you're supposed to be, and I might even hang around after then just to enjoy my creation, um, and everything in between. And like you said, you have,
Yeah.
you have specialists, right? You have spirit helpers you turn to when this particular client shows up with this particular problem. I handle it better than the other ones. So yeah,
It's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
It's very interesting. It's a good topic of discussion, and a lot to say, a lot to say, a lot to learn.
Indeed, yeah. It's a rich vein to mine for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Not boring. Well, okay. We've reached the top of the hour, so that means the show is coming to an end.
Ah,
Um, so hopefully the tears that are falling are tears of joy, not grief. But I will end that tonight's show has been dedicated to the memory of our my good friend Ron DeWild. Really great person, and good friend, and really great spiritual healer, mentor, and practitioner who I just found out passed on at the end of May this year. So we send him blessings
yes, indeed.
and love and support where he might find himself. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, friends. Well, Adrian, now that people have gotten a taste of all the wisdom and insight that you have to offer, uh, maybe you should share how they can contact you after the show. What do you
Yeah,
think?
absolutely. So, if
Okay.
what's that? Ah, there we go.
Is it
Yeah.
okay?
So you can call me or text me at 714-376-7289. Um, and you can look me up at my website, which is ravenmessages.com. I'm also have a Facebook page by the same name. And on the website, in particular, you'll find my fees and services that I provide. And there we go. There we go.
The Raven Show. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's probably the best way to learn more. And yeah, how about you, Lawrence? if anybody wants to book a session with you, a healing session, or learn more about the kinds of healing work that you do, how do they find you?
Yes. Well, they can go to my website, which is givingtreefarm.com. Right there. Do 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 do. You can give me a call or text using the number 541-344-7534. Email is givingtree@earthlink.net. And my Facebook page is Giving Tree Farm Herbs. I think, Adrienne, you also mentioned some upcoming events
Yeah,
this month
yeah,
we're meeting.
Tuesday, the 19th, at 6:30, at the ONE Hotel in West Hollywood. It's on Sunset Boulevard. I'll be there with about a half a dozen other psychics, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different. It's speed readings. So we're just about sold out for that event, but if you're interested, you can contact me, and I'll make sure that you connect with the right person in order to buy the tickets. Starts at 6:30. I think we go until about 10 or 10:30, something like that. It's a fairly long
Oh,
evening for
wow.
everybody. Yeah, but should be great.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you for
Nice.
asking about that. And then the 23rd, which is Saturday from 11 until 5. I'll be at the OC Heart Space Holistic Fair in Laguna Woods. And
Hmm.
myself and
Hmm.
quite a few other psychics and healers, a wide variety of practitioners at various price points are there providing readings and all kinds of assistance. And there's some free activities as well. So yeah, and some of the services are virtual.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to show up to take
Yeah.
advantage. Yeah, very cool.
Hmm.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, yeah, thank you. Another lovely discussion about
That's it.
spiritual topics.
Hmm.
Really great to share space with you, space every week. So thank you for that. Listening to you,
Yes,
and
thank you. Thank
thanks to
you.
our listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll
Yeah. And
see you
thanks to our
next
wonderful
week.
audience. Uh, yep. Yep. We're here every week. You can subscribe. You can sign up. You can like us. Do all that stuff so you don't miss a show. We have archive shows now. You can go back and take a look at if you need a fix in between. But we're here every Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So come by, get a free reading, and
Yep.
you know, despite our combined ignorance, we might actually learn something together. So that's always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, very good.
All
Very
right.
good. Thanks,
Well,
everyone.
have a
Thanks,
lovely rest
Lawrence.
of your evening.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you. Yeah. Enjoy your weekend. Be
All
well.
right. Yep.
All right. Soak up the goodness. Do good work.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Bye. Bye, all. Bye
All right.
bye.
Nighty night. Yeah. Take care.
Thank you. You too.